The saga of Sam Altman and the events that unfolded at OpenAI must have caught your attention. It all started with the firing of Sam Altman, a Silicon Valley star, the chief executive officer of OpenAI, that powerful, popular organization that is being treated as the leader in artificial intelligence research.
If you've followed the tech world, you've probably heard the name Sam Altman mentioned alongside some of the biggest breakthroughs in artificial intelligence.
OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, one of the most meaningful AI breakthroughs may be coming faster than most people would believe.
But with great influence comes even greater scrutiny. And recently, there have been controversies that have sparked debates that could reshape his legacy forever and sentence him to an end no one could have seen coming. Is this truly the end of Sam Altman as we know him? Or is this just another plot twist in the story of a man who's become synonymous with the AI era? Stick around as we dive deeper into the rise, the fall, and possibly the final goodbye of one of tech's most polarizing figures. The beginning of the end of Sam Altman. Sam Altman is a name that everyone can't stop talking about ever since the explosive rise of ChatGPT, DALL-E, and other AI tools. But even though his name is synonymous with the rise of AI, it has also recently been entangled in controversy. Now, we're not just talking about AI ethics or philosophical arguments over what artificial intelligence should and shouldn't do. No, this is something bigger, something personal and political. In the past few months, Altman has faced accusations and lawsuits that have put his name under a magnifying glass. First, there was the dramatic episode in late 2023 when Altman was ousted from OpenAI. It was almost like a tech world soap opera, as we saw employees rebelling, which in turn made the board to waver and reinstate Altman within days.
This man is not just the CEO of a tech startup, he is the face of the global AI revolution.
At the time, it looked like a victory, but as the dust settled, whispers about leadership tensions, transparency, and accountability started to grow louder. Fast forward to early this new year, and the spotlight on Altman has shifted in a dramatic way. His sister, Ann Altman, filed a lawsuit alleging a claim he has vehemently denied, and the tech community, media, and the public are grappling with the fallout, and it is bigger and more shocking than you can imagine. Questions about Altman's moral compass have now joined existing debates about his professional ethics, and that's not all. Elon Musk, a co-founder of OpenAI and longtime critic of the company's direction, recently revived a lawsuit accusing Altman and OpenAI of straying from its original mission of creating AI for humanity's collective benefit. These aren't minor inconveniences, they are events that could dismantle a reputation built over years. Altman is at a crossroad where the sentence on his career, his influence, and even his character is being written in real time. Whether it's through court rulings or the silent judgment of an industry and its followers, the world is watching to see how this chapter of his story ends. Could it be the end of his role as a tech leader, or does it signal a goodbye to the industry he helped define? Let's take a step back and unpack how Sam Altman became a household name in the tech world. Long before OpenAI catapulted him to global recognition, Altman had already established himself as a Silicon Valley star.
Sam Altman, a Silicon Valley star,
Born in 1985 in St. Louis, Missouri, Altman displayed an early knack for technology and innovation. He studied computer science at Stanford University, but dropped out in classic Silicon Valley fashion to pursue entrepreneurial dreams. His big break came with Looped, a location-based social networking app he co-founded in 2005. Looped was ahead of its time, offering geolocation features that later became the foundation of platforms like Foursquare and Snapchat. Although Looped didn't achieve commercial success, it was eventually acquired by Green Dot Corporation for $43.4 million. Altman's ability to innovate and lead was undeniable. Altman's next chapter happened at Y Combinator, one of Silicon Valley's most prestigious startup accelerators. In 2014, he was named president of Y Combinator, succeeding co-founder Paul Graham. Under Altman's leadership, Y Combinator expanded a lot, funding groundbreaking startups like Airbnb, Dropbox, and Stripe. His time there cemented his reputation as a visionary, who could spot and nurture transformative ideas. In 2015, Altman co-founded OpenAI alongside industry heavyweights like Elon Musk, Greg Brockman, and others. The mission was ambitious: to develop artificial intelligence that benefits all of humanity. OpenAI positioned itself as a non-profit committed to ethical AI development, a stark contrast to the profit-driven motives of big tech. Altman stepped into the CEO role in 2019, steering the organization through monumental breakthroughs like GPT-3, ChatGPT, and DALL-E. These technologies not only showcased AI's potential, but also started widespread debates about its risks and societal implications. The controversies surrounding Sam Altman. By 2023, OpenAI's influence was unmatched, with Sam Altman as its public face, but November 2023 marked a dramatic turning point. On November 17th, Altman was abruptly fired by OpenAI's board of directors, a move that shocked employees, investors, and the tech community. The board's justification? Allegations that Altman had not been transparent enough about OpenAI's research and decision-making processes. Some reports suggested that the board was concerned about the pace at which OpenAI was releasing its AI advancements, fearing they were outstripping society's ability to adapt. While the exact reasons remain murky, the decision to remove Altman seemed rushed and poorly communicated. What followed was a rebellion. OpenAI employees, nearly 700 of them, signed a letter demanding Altman's reinstatement. Microsoft, one of OpenAI's largest investors, publicly expressed support for Altman, even offering him a role within the company. Within 4 days, the board reversed its decision, and Altman was back as CEO.
Sam Altman is apparently back as OpenAI's CEO. That's just days after getting fired by the board. And
the whole debacle and the reactions it triggered proved the loyalty he commanded among his team, but it also raised questions about his leadership style. Was he too aggressive in pursuing AI advancements? Did his focus on innovation come at the cost of transparency and consensus? And here was the sad part. The aftermath of the firing and rehiring left lasting marks on Altman's reputation. While supporters hailed him as a visionary, unfairly targeted by a board with hidden motives, critics argued the incident highlighted the risks of concentrating power in a single leader. For Altman, the reinstatement was a victory, but it came with strings attached, heightened inspection of his decisions, and a more divided perception of his leadership. But there was still more to come. And this time it was his personal life that took the blow. Ann Altman, Sam Altman's sister, filed a lawsuit alleging. In the court filings, she detailed incidents she claimed took place over several years since she was 3 years old. The lawsuit left everyone in the tech community and outside reeling, and public reactions were divided. Some expressed disbelief, citing Altman's polished public image and his track record of supporting social causes. Others, however, pointed to the increasing scrutiny around tech leaders and their unchecked influence, suggesting that the allegations warranted serious investigation. Sam Altman has denied the allegations, calling them completely false and a calculated attempt to destroy his life's work.
Sam Altman, along with his mother and 2 brothers, categorically denied the allegations, calling them utterly untrue.
In a public statement shared on social media, Altman expressed his heartbreak over the accusations, describing them as an unimaginable betrayal and asserting his innocence. In a series of posts, Altman also addressed the emotional toll the allegations had taken on him, describing feelings of anger, sadness, and disbelief. While maintaining his innocence, he acknowledged the seriousness of the situation and called for a fair investigation to reveal the truth. This development added a deeply personal dimension to the controversies surrounding Altman. Unlike professional disputes, which can be dealt with through PR or legal magic, this kind of allegation strikes at one's character. Regardless of the legal outcome, the lawsuit has already impacted how Altman is perceived by peers, employees, and the public. But again, it did not end there. While grappling with personal allegations, Altman also found himself in the crosshairs of another formidable figure, Elon Musk. Musk, a co-founder of OpenAI, had distanced himself from the organization in 2018, claiming he disagreed with the direction it was taking. By 2024, Musk had revived a lawsuit accusing OpenAI and Altman of straying from the nonprofit mission it was founded on. Musk's central argument is that OpenAI, under Altman's leadership, transitioned into a profit-driven entity, prioritizing commercial gains over its original goal of developing AI for the public good. Critics of OpenAI have pointed to its partnerships with corporations like Microsoft and the introduction of subscription models for products like ChatGPT as evidence of this shift. Altman has defended OpenAI's approach, arguing that monetization is necessary to fund revolutionary research. He has also emphasized that OpenAI remains committed to ethical AI development.
OpenAI has found itself under fire recently for violating ethical business practices,
pointing to its efforts to build safeguards against misuse. But Musk's lawsuit has reignited debates about the tension between innovation and ethics in the tech industry. Whatever the result of these lawsuits, we must all agree that for Altman, the stakes couldn't be higher. His leadership is being questioned, and at the same time his character is being attacked. What is the truth, and will we really have to say goodbye to Sam Altman sooner rather than later? For now, Altman's influence remains intact, but these events have cast a long shadow, prompting a re-evaluation of his legacy. The consequences of the controversies Sam Altman is involved in. When we talk about a sentence for someone like Sam Altman, it's rarely about legal consequences alone. For a public figure, the court of public opinion often delivers its verdict long before a legal judgment is made. In Altman's case, the combination of his reinstatement controversy, allegations of ethical lapses, and personal scandals could serve as a metaphorical sentence that reshapes his career and legacy. Public trust is a fragile currency, especially for leaders in groundbreaking industries like AI. Altman's reinstatement after the November 2023 coup was a testament to his influence, but it also exposed vulnerabilities in his leadership. Critics argue that his focus on rapid innovation comes at the expense of ethical considerations. Coupled with the allegations by his sister, this perception could lead to a significant erosion of trust, both within OpenAI and in the broader tech community. High-profile lawsuits and public controversies have a way of isolating even the most influential figures. Altman's sister's lawsuit, in particular, threatens to cast a shadow over his achievements. In an industry where collaboration and partnerships are key, such controversies could make him a less attractive ally, forcing him into professional isolation. Altman's challenges have also reignited debates about accountability in the tech world. If OpenAI's board or other influential figures in the industry decide to distance themselves from Altman, it could signal a broader shift in how tech leaders are held accountable. This, too, would serve as a sentence, not just for Altman, but for the unchecked power often wielded by individuals in his position. And we must not forget the effects this could have personally. Faced with these challenges, Altman might choose, or be forced, to step back from the public eye. This could take the form of resigning from OpenAI or stepping away from tech entirely, and this is the part that would shock us all. If Sam Altman signs out completely, we would be witnessing the end of an era, both for Altman and for the artificial intelligence industry. While he could continue to contribute from behind the scenes, his role as a thought leader and public figure would be effectively over. Public scandals are emotionally exhausting, and the scrutiny he faces from both legal battles and media coverage adds an immense burden. This emotional strain could impact his ability to lead effectively, which in turn could hasten his potential withdrawal from his professional pursuits, whether or not his name is cleared. He had to say.
Paul Harvey.
If I were the devil, if I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness. And I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree.
It began a dialogue about the nature of our country's moral and spiritual compass. Rogan and his guests discussed these changes to society and worried about what the world will become. One guest of Rogan said it's almost like a playbook because the accuracy is uncanny. The introspective orientation of Rogan made the participants listen and ask questions regarding the state and possible spiritual emergency of the society. The concepts of returning to fundamentals and reviewing historical alarms and signals towards which society and especially people must return were outlined in the episode. This is why viewers of Rogan's show can be sure that even the most intricate topics will be explained to them simply and impressively. This particular episode was no exception, because it was evident that more could have been done in the struggle to convince reasonably informed and rational people. From the predictions made by Harvey, the conversation smoothly transitioned towards the practical realities of the changes taking place in society. Rogan and his guests talked and discussed atheism, which has led to the rise in secularism and moral relativism. They were dissecting all these changes on matters ranging from public policies to people's conduct. The discussion shifted to the aspect of solutions and hope. Elon Musk, as one of Rogan's guests, suggested that although the future has its threats, it also has distinctive, promising prospects. The topics included global cooperation in tackling the problems of these technologies, writing the principles of artificial morality, and the involvement of ordinary people and governments in creating a better future for everyone on the planet. Hence, the specific conflict that was shown in the podcast episode concerned a broader conflict about the future of American society and culture.
We are at the precipice of unstoppable great change, and I think we're just really fortunate to be alive at this time.
Yes.
The guests of The Rogan Show were able to provide different points of view. In fact, they used academic discourses as well as the testimony of their own experiences. This helped in developing an open discussion that was initiated with a lot of different perspectives and appealed to a multitude of people. One of the discussed concepts which, in my opinion, can be potentially crucial for understanding the main issues those women faced was the notion of a spiritual crisis. Rogan and his guests were worried that the society lacked a religious spirituality or a moral compass. This, according to Lays and Livingston, has been occupied by a new consumer-oriented and selfish paradigm. It turns out that they discussed how this change has affected society and whether the latter indeed faced such problems as mental disorders, social isolation, and acute unspecified misery. Joe Rogan raised a point as to whether society is moving in the right direction or not. Rogan is right in saying that a lot of the time observing and reviewing such utopian ideas embedded in old warnings is beneficial. This was a strong scene for Rogan to encourage people to watch and interpret historical cautionary measures, such as Harvey's speech. It stressed the relevance of historiography and applying the lessons learnt hence to the prevailing as well as future societies. Reflecting and learning were other major themes that received a lot of attention from the listeners, giving birth to other discussions on social media and other platforms. But that's not all. The intersection of AI and prophecy. In the same speech, Harvey creates a fictional scene of the devil's plan to pull society down through degeneration.
Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and in his own churches I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science.
Selfish amorality and a siege of institutions. Rogan seamlessly builds the relationship between the interview on AI impacts and effects to the chilling message by Paul Harvey. As in any study, the first thing with which Rogan familiarizes the audience with AI is a brief of the expansion and the infiltration of its applications. Joe Rogan stressed that AI is changing the world as we know it today, but with the power comes the responsibility. The conversation quickly shifts to the negative consequences of AI. Starting from the ethical and existential threats relative to AI and its essence as job deletion, privacy violation, and the general possibility of an AI overtop the human intellect, as this also left Rogan and his guests pondering. They show AI's potential need and integration of strict measures to counter bad practices and enhance utilization. Rogan simply equates the messages to what is happening in the advancement of artificial intelligence. He feels that it almost seems like Paul Harvey saw this coming. He also thought further about the possibility of AI being in the wrong hands, or even used negligently, which could become the thing that Paul Harvey was talking about, corruption and control in his prophecy. This gives authentic examples of the AI's misapplication, like in surveillance, manipulation of the society, and even war. Such cases demonstrate that AI can be used for negative purposes, which aligns with Harvey's idea about the gradual elimination of liberties and the growing authoritarianism. Ethical issues related to the use of AI are given a substantial part of the episode's duration.
Well, when you were talking about what this mind virus, how it was able to propagate through the social media and being in control of social media platforms.
Yeah. Rogan and his guests continue the topic of how, with the help of AI, the existing and new societal problems, such as increased economic disparity and social isolation, will be intensified. They reflect on whether AI would make society even more unfair, where only the people who own the AI technologies have all the power. When questioned, an AI ethicist guest hailed that, "Joe, AI can sway opinions, own information, and even dictate elections, or not." The implications of this are massive, to say the least. This fully fits into the prophecy made by Harvey about the moral degradation of people. Harvey predicted that the devil would nurture and encourage the idea of the postmodernists denying conventional morality. Rogan argued that if AI is not controlled, it could lead to the continuing moral decline that is evident today because it supports unlawful actions that negatively affect society's trust. The episode is about the ethical use of AI and the show's call for people to advocate for ethical conduct in their relationships. This segment partly supports Harvey's observations concerning power and submission. The ability of the presented AI technologies to become instruments of surveillance and control corresponds with Harvey's prophecy about the devil's intention to penetrate and subdue all spheres of life. As Rogan points out, it is essential to have enhanced legal shields and ethical principles for privacy to protect people's liberty. Among those that are wonderful to imagine as well as scary, the technological singularity is the idea of AI outcompeting human intelligence and releasing exponential growth in technology and the potential for an uncontrollable future. Rogan and his guests discuss perspectives of this situation, coming down to the hazards of saving oneself against those that threaten existence. Supposing AI will surpass human thinking, what is it going to be with humanity?
As AI systems become more advanced, there is a risk of them becoming uncontrollable and posing a threat to humanity.
This discussion could be described as inspiring and worrisome at the same time. It focuses on AI's promise to address the world's biggest questions, but also includes AI's threat in the form of an uncontrolled superintelligence. For this reason, Rogan and his guests stress the need to work on preparing for such a scenario and to ensure that the proper ethical compass guides the evolution of AI. However, Rogan's episode also reveals the possibility of positive impacts of AI with its numerous applications and benefits. He and his guests explore the positive use of technology, particularly in the fields of health, learning, and protecting the environment. It shows the requirements for the protection of justice to Al's impact and the search for probable solutions to Al's negative attributes. On the other hand, the guest stated that AI can do a whole lot of good when deployed correctly. It is upon us to make sure that is the way it happens. This endearing view gives the audience the power to call for the right use of artificial intelligence. The discussion emphasizes the necessity of stronger regulation, the establishment of ethical standards, and people's awareness to make AI useful. Rogan also leaves the audience with thought-provoking challenges on how to remain aware of the arising artificial intelligence advancements. He, unfortunately, stresses that society as a whole has the task of promoting good practices in the engineering and deployment of AI and demanding accountability from those who are involved in creating new technology and policies. In Joe Rogan's opinion, it is up to all of us to ensure that AI is created in a correct way, which is beneficial to humans. We have to be alert and informed and put a check on those in charge. This closing message refers to the messages of Harvey's lectures about the imperativeness of preserving high ethical standards and staying alert regarding the overall deterioration of society's values. In the case of Rogan's episode, people should be reminded that while these technological tools are amazing, people should be wary of their use and constantly weigh it against their ethical uses. Rogan's exploration of spirituality. His journey.
What I have been someone who has said that a lot of the stories that are in a lot of the religions clearly have the hand of man on them.
While Rogan has always been a secular figure with seemingly endless topics of interest, he has recently become more willing to ponder religion and even have Christians as guests on his show. As for the climb to spiritual awakening, this change has led many observers to discuss the emergence of the spiritual Rogan. In his few episodes, Rogan suggests that we need to consider if this is really what we want and where we're heading. It's worthwhile to revisit these old projections to find any meaningful insights. Rogan's interest in the spiritual and self-realization also points to a culture where famous personalities turn to metaphysical teachings and ponder on the moral angles of the society. Persons like revivalist Isaiah Saldivar have noted that while Rogan is fascinated by such content, it shows that the culture is getting spiritual. What gives the notion of examining Rogan's spirituality such importance is the scope of his audience. Listeners of his podcast could be anyone, ranging from young adults to the elderly, professionals, businessmen, and students, and the majority of these people might not have any interest in religious or spiritual programming. In this case, Rogan is fueling these discussions and making them more acceptable, therefore having a positive impact on his audience by getting them to think deeply about spirituality.
Did you know how many fucking religions there could be?
This is a religion, for sure. It just means a bunch of people listen to a uniform thought process. I don't think you need a book. I don't think you need shit.
This change in content that Rogan has been involved in has not escaped the public's wrath. Some of his audiences have noted the change in his perception and the profundity of different discussions. Some viewers appreciated Rogan's openness to spirituality, stating that this is good for him and for the world in general to pay attention to this aspect. Another common aspect of Rogan's discussions regards his stressing the aspect of awareness and critical thinking. He motivates his hearers to question everything they are told and everything they believe in. This approach has contributed to developing a smarter and more active audience who are ready to challenge the existing reality and find more profound causes. What should be told of us all with this terrific prediction? A call to vigilance. However, Joe Rogan's response to Paul Harvey's prophecy reflects a new shift in a culture of ethical, spiritual, and prophetic reflections about the future. While Rogan continues to explore such topics, the show finds an interesting audience with many people who remain worried about the state of society and a desire to regain some core principles. At the end of his monologue, Rogan noted that Paul Harvey's warnings are meaningful ones to us all. While we may choose to consider the concept of the devil as a mere myth, Paul Harvey's speech remains a wake-up call to many to pay attention to the state our society is in today. But with Rogan's platform that is catered to millions of people and people of all kinds, he is capable of initiating such discussions. Many have described him as being able to discuss issues of immense complications in ways that ordinary people could follow thanks to his efforts. This episode, for instance, has received a lot of traction, forcing people to think about what they want, as well as the society. The discussion that Rogan has participated in has effects not only for his listeners, but for the world in general too. In this regard, Rogan has made an effort to raise awareness of these problems, thus contributing to the emergence of a broader collective cultural self-reflection. This introspection is crucial when our society is developing at the rate when new technologies are...
Where did it end up? Do you know where it ended up?
I don't know, but they don't have much to negotiate with, unfortunately. There's an inevitability with this kind of technology. It's like, would you write books with a feather?
Challenging many age-old beliefs. The current situation makes Rogan right in his advice to remain vigilant, which can be understood as recalling the need for reflection and critical thinking. This is a very important theme because while access to information is prompt, it is often crucial to look beyond the surface to find out the truth. In the same way, Rogan's discussions prompt his listeners to do that, which leads to a more thoughtful and engaged society. The topic that Rogan discussed regarding the prophecy uttered by Paul Harvey has spurred a greater discourse on society's ethical and religious compass. These words go beyond his guests to touch on the cultural and social sphere of the society in which we exist. The episode has caused debates on online forums, social media, and even print and digital media. The effect is profound primarily because this interview makes the audience start thinking about what they do and what society is turning into. An aspect that is evident in Rogan's discussion is that of critical thinking and reflection. The availability of information today means that people should start thinking critically about the specific narratives they are receiving, to go beyond the surface level. Given the exposure of Rogan's program as attracting hundreds of thousands of listeners spanning a wide demographic, the program is well suited for such conceptualization and contemplation. A positive response came in from the side of the viewers in the form of rather eloquent reactions. Contemplating the episode, loud discussions and debates went viral on social media. Some thanked Rogan for discussing the matter, which is considered critical at the moment, while others voiced their concerns and wish for a better future. The episode became a popular topic of discussion concerning the presence of tangible AI in our daily lives and the measures that need to be taken for AI to remain a positive influence. Therefore, as we progress as a society into a world of more and more artificial intelligence, one has to be more watchful, knowledgeable, and active. This way, by providing thoughtful dialogues and supporting the creation of responsible AI, we can move forward through the future's difficulties and use the advantages of AI to improve human life. Do you think that this terrifying prophetic prediction by Paul Harvey of the future is already happening? Could this prediction be based on the impacts of AI in today's world? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to like, follow, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click on the next video on your screen. You will enjoy it.